Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship here at Gilles Villeneuve up here in Montreal, Canada. I'm Austin Knight. I'm joined by Alessandro Dalladonde with Marco Barbonero in the production booth, and you're here watching the Formula 3.5 Championship here on Apex Racing TV. Alessandro, it's a great afternoon to go Formula 3.5 racing. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, Austin. Thank you very much. After another round between walls at Detroit in the Formula 3 early on, we are at an hybrid track. Let's say it's not a proper road track, but we have a very tight walls here at Montreal, so it's gonna be definitely a very interesting race. We have a very strong field with Emil Berstov, who definitely wants to redeem himself after a poor race in the F3 series early, now in pole position.
Yeah, Emil sitting a good time, 1/10 ahead of Gio Cortez. Another new name to the series, Paul Ilbrick sits there in third, followed by Edward Samborski. Theodore Burns currently sitting in 5th place. And looking through the field, you know, a lot of familiar names coming back. Ali Kowak is back here. I mean, Kwaka. I am so sorry. Rob Bohr, Norike Mizuno is also here as well.
It's nice to see some new drivers coming in and some of the known drivers joining back for this event. We have a few different drivers in the top spot today so far. We are definitely used to see Samborski and Ilbrink up there, but not to see Pinsker in 6th place or Emil Bernstorff and Cortese so up in the field. Even though Cortese, we must say, has definitely a very high rating, above 6K, so he probably belongs there, but it's new to the series, so great outing so far.
Indeed, and you see Gio actually practicing one of his starts or just stopping on the grid. Have you ever done that after qualifying? Just go up to the grid where you think you're going to be starting and practice one of your starts?
Never, and I'm dreadful at any standing start, to be fair, so please do it if you can, because it's only a danger for you in the end, because you might get rear-ended, like it happened to me this week in this proper car.
Not a happy memory.
Oh, definitely no. I'd rather call the races than racing this beautiful formula. It's enough for me.
Yeah, same here as we go through the wall champions. Paul Ilbrink getting a good exit out of there. He comes down the front stretch and across the line with just 40 seconds left. Paul Ilbrink does not improve on his time. I feel like he's just putting down laps.
And we know Paul is used to get some laps in before the end of qualifying. We just take this quick calm time to present our sponsors. We have, as per usual, alongside the Apex Racing TV, Apex Racing Academy, 29 data packs, setups, track guides, and integrated VRS and wiki group coaching session, and now also available single one-on-one session at apexracingac.com, and also virtual racing school with 50 plus data packs, setups, track guides, data analysis softwares, and one-on-one coaching.
And as qualifying ends, here is your starting lineup here at Gilles Villeneuve. Emil Bernstorff takes pole, followed by Gio Cortez, Paul Ilbrick, Edward Samborski, Theodore Burns, James Pinsker, Rob Bohr, Ali Kwaka, Ivan Alfmoff, Andreas Ferrazlite, Phil Reed, and Rob Crouch in 12th place. They're followed by Eduardo Marquez, Juanda De Fuente, Masafumi Abarume, Riley Miller, Jamie Byrne, Mark Ponick at his home track. He'll be starting in 18th. James Byrne, Noriyuki Mizuno, and Fabio Berchtold at the end of this 21 car grid.
So slowly, as per usual, we will see everybody grid. Emil Bernstorff, our pole sitter. I think should be the first pole position for Emil in the broadcast races. He's definitely been very fast so far in this car, but he never started from the first row. So very good qualifying, and now we see everybody slowly populating the grid. Obviously, the later you join, the hotter the tires are, and here also we have our weather information. 18 degrees Celsius, 19 degrees on the track, partly cloudy. It should be a very cool morning here in Montreal, so tire wear should not be an issue.
Tire wear shouldn't be an issue, so let's get ready to go. Racing 5 red lights are on, and away they go here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for another great round of the 5 championship. Good start from Gio Cortez already on the outside of Emil Bernstorff. Bernstorff goes wide heading into turn 2, and Gio trying to hold it down to the inside. Side by side they go, coming out of turn 2, heading into turn 3. This is a very tricky corner to go side by side through here. We saw that with Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton, but Gio Cortez takes the lead.
Great start for
We got
some issues
Rob
in the
Bohr.
mid.
Rob Bohr got loose right there and into the wall. Only stops up and into Paul Ilbert, who goes into the catch fence via Lance Stroll style. Oh no!
Coming by, terrible race again for Ilbring after the issues last week. Also today, Emil Bernstorff, unfortunately, too much mustard with cold tires, and it's pretty much race over for him, but even worse for Paul.
Yeah, Paul just had no luck right there. Gio Cortez has all the favors right now. Everything he needed to do, he did. Then all chaos broke loose behind him, and he's got a 2-second gap to Everett Samborski right behind. And man, hopefully Paul's okay from the other side of the Shadow Realm, because that is a long trip from out of there.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's not gonna be happy. Absolutely not.
Third, James Pinsker, he's looking down the inside of Burns, and Pinsker jumps up into third.
Yeah, James obviously getting some freebies from the east. They did a very good turn 1, but did not get a really good exit. So Theodore Burns gets back to third place as Fuente in his Renault livery cuts completely the chicane to avoid any contact with the wall, being too deep under braking. But here we are back with Burns defending from JJ Pinsker.
Yeah, JJ, well, he tried going it. He tried going on there. He did get that move, but just coming off the exit, it wasn't as fast as Theodore. Theodore managed to stay up there and retake third place. As they continue to race here, James gives a good look down into the hairpin. Very late on the brakes, a little bit of a lockup right there. And oh, here comes Ali Kwaka. Almost down the inside of Theodore Burns. He's got a great view of this battle ahead of him.
Oh yeah, for sure. He will try to profit. Pinsker now in front of Burns will try to defend, but it's very difficult to go side by side through this final chicane. So either you get the pass done before entering the chicane, or you have to pray to not have any contact, because it's pretty much guaranteed something's gonna go wrong. Usually it doesn't really work at side by side through there. Samborski sets the fastest lap of the race with a 24.8.
Samborski trying to challenge Gio right now and retake that top spot that he's been missing for a while, as Emil Bernstorff is back out on track, 47 seconds down. So I feel like he's just going to be running his own race, as Gio Cortez, 2-second gap to Everett Samborski, and I can tell you Samborski is probably using some of that DRS to his advantage to catch up and put some pressure on Gio.
Yeah, for sure, and also I think to get away from James J. Pinsker, because he definitely doesn't want to have any company, as we are back to fourth position for the fight between Burns and Kwaka. Kwaka almost or probably even getting together at the hairpin. Quokka will have now the slipstream. Let's see if both drivers will use the DRS. Remember, 7 DRS available for the drivers during the whole race. 8, sorry.
And speaking of DRS, Ollie Quokka using his right there. You can tell if a driver's using DRS if you cannot see through the rear wing. And if you can see through the rear wing, then DRS is disabled. Kind of opposite thinking when you do it, but you know, that's the game that iRacing is playing with us. So instead of getting a easier target to look at, it's just very hard.
It took me a while to understand how it was working. I thought it was the opposite, then I realized it's not possible that the drivers use DRS for mostly of the track. So yeah, at the start might take a little to adjust. As we have a replay.
Here's what happened at the start, and between Emil Berstoff and Paul Ilbrey, too much mustard coming out of the corner. Then Paul goes into the straight-up Shadow Realm, and I think he's going to, well, he's back from the Shadow Realm, and he's in our chat. Quote, well, that was fun. Paul, I'm not sure what your description of fun is, but this is just pure unlucky.
Yeah, absolutely nothing he could do there.
Though, Paul, if you do come back for the Shadow Realm, if you do go in there, I hear they have great options. So, yeah, did you manage to get some Shadow Realm options? Because, you know, those sound pretty nice.
Oh yeah, thank God it was not directly near the stream here we see on the right, otherwise we would have got a nice path. As we have still a fight for fourth place between Quokka and Burns, always providing great entertainment, these midfield battles.
The midfield battle almost going into the podium battle as well, but these two have been going at for a few laps.
So it seems pretty much to settle down everything in the top 3.
Actually, the entire field's pretty much settled down. I'm looking at throughout the field. We got about 2, 3 fights going on right now. I know Riley Miller is involved in one right now where he's trying to chase down Marquez ahead of him. The Brazilian driver. I know he has a few fans out there in chat. As we head into the hairpin. Miller taking a different line, a little bit wider, very wild off the exit right there. And he's just sitting in the draft right now.
It's gonna be interesting, as we always say in these tracks with long straights, to see when the drivers will use their DRS. Because you want to use it maybe at the start to get away from people, but at the same time you want to keep some for the end of the race to defend when it really matters, as Mizuno just passed Burn for 16th place.
So we got a replay of the start. This is what happened to Rob Bohr. He was the first yesterday. He got into the side of Ollie Quokka, just stayed onto the curbing. Too much mustard off the exit. And that was a self-spin right there. Almost reversed back into the field, which, well, we all know that could have been very bad. But Rob Bohr didn't have any contact with anyone else, but Ollie Quokka, he's had a heck of a day. Up 4 spots right now. Our biggest mover is Riley Miller, who's up 6 spots.
Yeah, definitely. Most of the spots were made in the opening laps, and now it's gonna be very, very difficult to make up some positions. As per usual, dirty air is gonna be key. We don't really have long sweeping corners here, but the track layout doesn't really help. Is much passing under braking, but you need to be very close to contend for position. As Samborski is the first, actually with Pinsker are the first 2 drivers to set a time below the 1:24. It's a 23.95 for Samborski and 9.6 for JJ Pinsker.
Yeah, Samborski definitely still trying to chase down Gio right there as Ponic is trying to hold off Burn, who's going down to his inside, and Rob Boers just trying to decide what he wants to do. And Ponic holding it around the outside as they go side by side in there, and going off the track goes Theodore Byrne. No, James Byrne to take the spot, and Boer gets into another incident.
Yeah, it's very difficult to go side by side. Not really much room. Boer quite unfortunate in both occasions so far today. We now have to defend from Mizuno, but Mizuno has the inside. Boer manages to keep the car in front and defend his 15th position, but now he will have to defend also from Byrne.
Here comes Noriyuki down the inside into the hairpin. Noriyuki Mizuno, he's got it. And coming off the exit now, who's going to have the speed? Rob Boer's going to have the speed on the outside, but Noriyuki has that positioning down onto the inside, heading into the wall of champion chicane. And Rob Boer, he might have a little bit of damage right there. And there's Jamie Byrne. He might just be staying course with this. He does as they fly past the wall and onto another lap of this battle for 15th.
Cortese just set the fastest lap of the race in first place, but to keep track of this battle, yeah. These are 7/10 out of Samborski last stop.
Yeah, James Pizza had a heck of a lap, and now he's just sitting on the back of Ever Samborski. Remember when we were at Silverstone, he took his first win in almost a year. And he was very overjoyed with that, and he's been regular on the podium now. But on the top step, he needs to he wants to be a little bit more comfortable up there. And he's chasing with Everett Samborski, who's just pulling away and across the track, trying to get out of the draft from him.
Oh yeah, you see James always showing himself in the mirror of Samborski whenever he can't really make a pass happen, distract him, but definitely he's not one of the newest drivers. He knows what James is trying to do there. Goes wide though here, and Pinsker gets to pass him on the inside. He will have contact.
Oh, they touch again. Samborski goes across the grass. Pinsker is going to jump up into second place.
Definitely, I'm not gonna be happy about this, but Rabin is racing, as we usually say.
Not in open wheels.
Well, everywhere, come on. If you do it right, you can do it everywhere.
Well, it's just a little bit of a mistake for Samborski right there, as Painter is just down the inside. They touch wheels right there, and then they align side by side. They touch again, and oh my goodness, Samborski, he did let off and didn't just full on gun it through the grass, unlike a certain Ferrari driver, but former Ferrari driver, I must say. And well, he drops down to third. Big send by Ferraz on Alfmoff, and E equals MC done right there. Andreas Ferraz-Lite up into 6th place.
Great pass. I thought he wasn't gonna stop, but he made it stick. That was a perfect execution at the hairpin from Ferraz-Lite, as we always have these 3 guys fighting for 15th place.
Actually, it's 14th. They've caught up to Mark Ponick, and Ponick's going down the straight. He's got DRS open, and Noriyuki is closing down on him now. So head down that front stretch for another lap here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. On it, taking that line regularly, and it looks like Noriyuki is starting to plan on a move very soon.
Yeah, definitely looking to go by, as we have Byrne wide on the grass. He might have
a hairpin. Nope, no, not the hairpin. That's turn 1.
I think he clipped the wall. Oh, James Pinsker is out. JJ Pinsker is out. Big mistake. He's out of the race. Let's see if Marco can catch up with the replay.
There's Samborski, and here is James Pace here right now. And, always suspect a curb, and he's gone off and into the wall. And that's his front wing gone. That's his race over.
Oh, yeah.
James J. Pacer is out of this race, and Ali Kwaka gets freebied up into third.
And definitely everybody will be happy because they know they're gonna have some free iRacing from him. Being the number one of the room, he will definitely have a big hit on his iRacing tonight. Unfortunate race for James, was doing a great job.
On our SDK software, which is something you don't really want to lose. Especially if you're like me and Marco, and we can barely gain 100 in a week.
Oh, yeah. Depends if you can get in the car. You have to drive to do some editing. We still have to hear from our lawyer in Florida if our court case is open from the laws we wanted to make after our Daytona 24 crash. But here we are for the battle for 5th. Verstappen and Eifumov still very close together. Crouch is also lurking in the background. If these two start to fight, probably you will have also a chance to get a position. As also Boyer just made a pass on Pony for
missed that corner. Yeah, Bonnet just missed it. Went wide, and now Boyer, he's got DRS up and going down the straight, but he's got Bonnet just sitting on his tail. The next level racing driver looks to the outside. He's just allowing Rob Boyer to have that position right there. And he's just going to stay in 15th right now. Burn and Birchfield, he's going for a move down the inside. We got a drag race right now here in Canada. Not much of a drag race, more like a fire jet versus a cheetah right there. And Jamie Byrne up at his 16th. I'm off in Crouch in the battle for 6.
Yeah, I think we're slowly dropping back after losing P5. Now he's trying to defend very hard. Also P6. It's not the preferred line. You see how slow he went out of this chicane. This will give Rob Crouch the chance to go around the other side and all the way.
That's going to be difficult to work, but he's going to have that outside speed off that exit. Just got to get that throttle down nicely, and he's got that move. But now he needs to get his legs out or running and needs to power through. He's also got the DRS open. Rob Crouch up in a 6th place. And what a great move on Eichmann.
Absolutely. It was a textbook job by Rob Crouch. Here we have Reed and Boyer trying to pass Mizuno, doing a great job, but Japanese drivers always putting up a great show since they joined this great community for this season. Usually they always start towards the back and made their way through during the race. 4 places for Aburame, 5 actually right now after passing Miller, who I think has some issues.
Miller's off the track. Miller's spun around. There's Miller. And he's lost a front right wing, and that is one damaged suspension of a car. And he's sitting right on the race line right now, looking like a Dragon Speed LMP2.
You got me, and I was about to say it.
Oh,
also some damage.
there's another contact right there.
Maybe
Was that Marquez? It might have been Marquez.
the colors seem familiar, but we'll have to see.
It was a blue car. I think that was Marquez.
As Marco is moving throughout the field, we have Miller on pit road right now. So issues also for Riley Miller. Slowly losing some drivers. as the battle for 11th place is still on. Burmizun and Bo are always very close together. This incident promotes Aburam back in 10th place, so in the top 10.
Now Rob Moore, after that starting spin, he fell all the way down to last. He's trying to punch his way back up through the field, and pretty sure he's not a fan of this track, but he certainly knows how to get around here and get around everybody. And I think if anyone has a big, hard charge available, this is definitely going for Rob Moore right now, because he is definitely pulling through the field right now. He's all the way on the back of Noriyuki Mizuno, just ahead of him, and he's favoring that outside exit, that outside line going to the hairpin, just to get some speed off the exit, as Noriyuki's enabled DRS on Burn ahead of him.
Oh, you can do multiple lines through the hairpin, and if you don't have anybody around the outside line coming out of that hairpin, gives you a little bit of boost exiting, so you can have a nice draft on the straight, as these guys are always fighting out. Berthold also moved up one position in 16, passing Berthold after coming to the pits earlier on, after the crash on the opening lap. Might have a chance to pass Burn in the next few laps, as he's lapping faster than American.
They went from the outside, they're switching down to the inside. Noriyuki gets back onto the bumper of Burn for that exit, but here comes Rob Moore now. We got a 3-car fight for 11th.
See how everybody's looking to make a pass happen, always showing themselves.
Ooh, Rob. Very big wiggle.
Putting the power down in this car is probably the thing I find most difficult, as Mizuno was a true burn as the inside, and will make the car big wide on the apex, and will now settle in 11th place.
Rob Moore's on the inside of Burn. They're going to go 3 wide right here heading into turn 1. This is awesome. Noriyuki holding that outside line as Burn trying to hold it around the outside now. And Rob Boers is trying to cut through both of them, like, get out of my way. Noriyuki's up in 11th. Burn and Boer almost collide with each other.
Very aggressive maneuver by Burn, but stays in 12th place. Really racing hard for position. We have almost 10 laps left. And these guys are going at it like it was the last one.
As they continue on going, they separate for a little bit to catch their breath. Noriyuki Mizuno joins his Japanese countryman right there, as they're sitting in 10th and 11th now.
Samborski is 8 seconds behind Cortese. But
Cortez is on another level here.
Absolutely.
Just another level of driving right now.
He's been lucky, to be fair, because he had that incident.
And that start did help him out.
Samborski and Pinsker collided together, so they lost some valuable time there too. But looking at the pace right now, Cortese is half a second faster than Samborski. And Samborski, more than looking forward, he has to look back, because Oli Kuoka is very close. He's lapping at the same pace, but he's only 2 seconds behind. So for Samborski, race is not over.
Yeah, Samborski with the man with the poker face right there. A little bit happy, but he might need to be a little bit worried, because, as he said, Oli Kuoka is starting to close in on him. And actually, they just set identical lap times last time.
Yeah, very similar pace between the two drivers. We will never get bored of this beautiful camera shot. We didn't get the chance to see it last week.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Samborski was not there, so I think we're just getting our camera time. And I believe now Marco just finally stopped watching a soccer game and went back to a different camera shot.
Marcus and Wright for 8th place. Both drivers making up a few positions from where they started. Keeping it clean usually always provides some positions gain for the midfield. There is always some trouble for drivers in the opening laps. We, apart from this battle, we don't really have a really big ongoing fight.
Last time we said that, a 3-car fight just happened out of nowhere, so we might need to keep saying that some more. But Phil Reed and Marquez definitely nose to tail with each other coming out of that final chicane, heading into the hairpin. And Marquez needs to keep his eyes in those mirrors for a little bit, because Reed is definitely on a charge.
Oh yeah, for sure. Reed is going to try to close the gap on this back straight. You see how fast is the closing rate for these drivers. Byrne moving around.
Bohr was looking for it. He was closing in on him, but it was a very odd look from Rob Bohr as these 3 cars, almost 4 cars now, coming across the wall champions.
Up at 19.
Masafumi ahead of him in that battle for 11th.
Yes.
It is, so we might have a 4-way fight for 10th.
Yeah, still 1 second is the gap between Aburam and Mizuno, but you can see how is the closing rate from Mizuno. Almost half a second every lap. So we are set for a 4-way battle for the last spot in the top 10. So we have right now a battle for 6th and 7th between Crouch and Afimov, for 8th between Marquez and Wright and Reed, and then a battle for 10th shaping up for Aburam and Mizuno, Byrne and Boer.
And as we're looking at the front wing of Phil Reed does have some damage on that front left wing, as he was the car that was affected by that mistake by Riley Miller. And Reed is looking down the inside. He's got the speed on the front straight, on the back straight, and side straight, the straight before the chicane. Phil Reed's up into 8th.
Good pass, as we see. Even more,
he's under pressure now still again. As Abarume is just clear of Mizuno and Byrne. They're side by side. Phil Reed and Marquez are still side by side as well. Reed down the inside of Marquez. And Rob Boer's missed the corner.
Tough day for Boer. That's pretty much any chance of getting some more positions out of the window. Went in too deep.
That's just missing the breaking point right there.
Yeah, just slightly, and then obviously nowhere to go. This corner seems not too complicated, but in the end is, I think, one of the most difficult corners you can ever find, because if you just miss your breaking point on entry, you might get the inside wall. If you carry too much speed, you just smash the outside wall and it's day over.
Yeah, you got the wall on the outside, you got the grass on the outside. It's pretty much a one-line corner, really. You don't want to cut it too much, or else you're going to get an off track. If you hit it even harder on the inside, you're going to hit the wall. And look down the inside, Marquez getting an advantage through the corner, but here comes Reed off the exit. Marquez had that little bit of a bobble, and now Phil Reed trying to get him back, but Phil Reed is slow on front straight speed with that damage he got. Reed down the inside. Now it's Marquez down the inside.
great battle between these two drivers, but remember, if they keep battle, we might have some new faces joining the party, because Aburame is far, but not much. He's within a second now.
Yeah, 8/10 gain on him. There's Aburame. There's Noriyuki. And soon to be, there's James Byrne.
So we're set for a 4-way battle for 10th place. Now we find ourselves waiting for a battle for 8.
And with Marquez and Reed, Marquez being challenged by Reed. Reed has a damaged car. Aburame and Mizuno do not have damaged cars. And the two Japanese drivers are about to go to work because they both missed the breaking point. They both get each other. And Masafumi Aburame goes down the inside and off the exit. Masafumi Aburame makes 2 spots in 1.
Great pass, very opportunistic pass by the Japanese driver. Now we are 3 wide.
3 wide. Let's go. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? It's going to be Masafumi taking it.
Great battle. We are set for a great finish, Austin.
Great finish, and we only have 5 laps to go. Around the outside, Marquez trying to make it work. Aburame holding it around the outside. Phil Reed trying to hold it down to the inside. Noriyuki Mizuno is in 11th, and there's James Byrne. We got a 5-car fight right now. It's Marquez, Aburame, Reed, Mizuno, Byrne still nose to tail with each other. Byrne getting very loose coming out of that exit.
Tiger kicking in a little bit, even though it's very cold today here in Montreal. And such a close racing. We have even Bauer joining back the party. So we have 6 cars in the span of 2 seconds now.
This is absolutely insane. They all fly past that chicane. This is absolutely fantastic racing. As Noriyuki is looking down the inside of Reed, trying to force a mistake. Noriyuki. And Bohr is also involved in another incident. And I can't believe that lasted as long as it can. Here comes Masafumi Aburame down around the outside as Marquez tries to make it there. Phil Reed jumps over the bump right there, and they almost make contact again.
It's our fellow viewer Nick's fault this time, not ours. He called it, this won't end well in the chat, and indeed...
Well, when you're nose to tail, 6 cars long, it's definitely going to happen, and they pretty much got Long Beach the hairpin right there. Here's Noriyuki heading into the hairpin, and Byrne just gets onto the throttle way more. The Rob Bohr is probably the most unlucky person on track right now, and he should definitely be staying away from the casino on the inside of this track.
Yeah, that seemed to have a very big damage though, because...
Oh, and Phil Reed has buried his nose back there, and he's got even more damage on the front of his car now.
I think Rob Boyer is quite lucky because he's in 11th place right now, and the car seems to be going quite well, although he had a big hit on the outside wall. He was going quite slow, I must say, but at the same time the hit was quite intense. But yeah,
definitely wasn't an intense hit, and he's been just so lucky today.
Byrne
lucky to keep his car in one shape, I must say. Unlucky with all the mistakes.
Well, we've seen already in the previous events, Austin, that these cars can sustain quite a lot of damage and quite big impacts. For example, Emil Bernstoff got super lucky at Long Beach after hitting the tire barriers in the opening laps and got away with a podium there. So this showcases how durable is this car.
Yeah, these cars are very durable. Probably the strongest single-seater car out there on iRacing until that new damaged model might come to this car. And if you've seen what the IR18 does when it gets hit, now you better wait to see what these cars look like after they get hit. But I feel like not a lot's going to change with them, as they still could take a pretty much of a pounding.
Aburam and Marquez definitely the ones coming out of it with a better result.
Yeah,
Now they are the
Masafume
one.
definitely the happiest person in the field right now. Our hardest charger and biggest mover up 7 spots. James Byrne also up 7 spots as well. But Masafume, the higher place up, so he gets the priority. I didn't write the rules, I just say them. Even though it's not really a rule and I'm just the one recording it. So technically I did write the rules.
We trust you, Austin. You got it. But this man got it too today.
Oh yeah, Gio Cortez dominating from start to finish, and he's just looking like he's on a Saturday afternoon cruise right now, because he practically is. He's 10 seconds clear to the field, and he just had about 3 corners of fighting with just 3 corners of fighting, and then everything just went his way.
White flag is in the air. Last lap here at Montreal. We have still a few positions to be decided. Like 8th place here between Aburam and Marquez. Then
Marquez still has 2 more laps to make a move right here. Well, 1 more lap, really. He hasn't crossed the start-finish line yet, so technically it's 2 more. Marquez looking down low. He's looking for a send, or at least to fill the mirror. And he's forced Aburam to make a mistake. He's cut the course. And this is going to allow Marquez to catch back up and make a pass as Aburam is going to have to slow down and serve that penalty. Marquez sends it down low. Marquez up into 8th.
And now you have this big counter on your screen telling you how much time you have left, so you might try to get the slow down slowly throughout the first sector.
He's already served it.
As Phil Reed is now trying to keep up as much as he can, because you never know, maybe in the last corner where a lot of times it has been ended in tears.
Well, it's not going to end in tears. It's going to end in tears of joy, I can tell you that. Gio Cortez with a fantastic victory here with the fastest lap as well. Man, what a race. And Edward Samborski finishes in 2nd. Ali Kwaka comes home in 3rd. Up 5 spots to get up onto the podium as Marquez leads out Aburam after a very gutsy last second to last lap pass down into the chicane to get into 8th place. But here comes Aburam. Aburam is going to try to get some revenge. Aburam sending it kamikaze style, and he's got the spot. And now we got a little bit of a drag race, and Masafume Aburam is going to take 8th place by a 10th.
That was amazing.
Kamikaze style down the inside.
Absolutely amazing. Great job. That was a perfect last corner. They could.
My goodness.
Fantastic. Oh. Definitely worth the price of entrance for this event.
That was a fantastic last few laps. From everybody in this field, we had, my goodness, I can't get over that. Whew.
Oh yeah, definitely a big highlight for this race. Very entertaining, lots of battles, textbook job from Joe Cortez, our race winner today. Here are the race results with Edward Samborski in 2nd place. Olli Kwok in 3rd, Theodore Burst, Andres Ferraleite rounds up the top 5, followed by Rob Crouch, Ivan Alfimov, Masafume Aburam, Evandro Marquez, and Phil Reed. In 11th place for Rob Burr, James Byrne, Mark J. Ponik, Noriyuki Mitsuno, Emil Bernstoff coming back from an incident early on in the race who unfortunately ended the race of Paul Hilbrink. Jamie Byrne in 16th, Fabio Bertorch, Riley Miller, James J. Pinsker, Juan Rodea Fuente and Paul Ilbing in 21st place.
What a grid, and my goodness. What a race we saw here today. It wasn't exciting up at front, but my goodness, the midfield battle just certainly outshone the entire grid here today. We had so many moments of here. 6 cars nose to tail with each other for an entire lap till it all got blown up. I can say that, but my goodness, it was just really fantastic to watch this racing here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely Montreal providing plenty of passing opportunities, late braking opportunities, and the drivers definitely delivered today. Although we had some contacts, some retirements for big names that are inevitable on this track, to be fair, in very tight and twisty. But for sure, another great showcase for our drivers. We can start with our interviews by having in the booth Theodore Burns finishing in 4th place. Theodore, how are you doing? Great job today.
Thank you, guys.
How was your race? Talk us through.
It was definitely a management race. Just trying not to push too hard. Be mindful of the curbs. Definitely give the track a lot of respect. Just so you try not to make a mistake. I saw a couple of my competitors a little bit less fortunate. Paul and Emil getting caught up on the first lap, and then James later on. So I just knew you got to keep the car pointed forward, and tried to keep up with the guys up front there.
Oh yeah, we've seen plenty of mistakes from big names also today. How do you manage to be very consistent and fast, but at the same time making sure not to get too many 0x's, because you can get away with some, but then might be race over?
Yeah, it's for sure just kind of the mind game that you play with how you approach the corners, and I always try to back them up a little bit and focus on getting a better exit out of the corners. And usually it comes out about the same time, but you end up being much more consistent in that you're not getting really close to the walls and eventually scraping it just a little bit too hard. So just making sure I had a nice solid setup underneath the car, and yeah, just trying to back everything up just that little bit to be consistent.
Next week we go back to Europe. We go to Spa, so definitely quite a different tracks. Are we going to see there maybe a medium downforce setup for some drivers? Can you give us some opinions on that?
Yeah, that's always the tough part about Spa. There's always a handful of guys that want to make the medium downforce work, and then a bunch of others that run the high downforce, and it's just difficult to try and keep up. I think with how the tire model's gone on this car, it's the medium downforce I think is more usable than ever before. So I think you may see a couple extra guys trying to use that to their advantage and try and stay ahead in the straights. But it'll be interesting for sure, and I can't predict who will show up with what setup until we actually get on the grid next Saturday.
Oh, for sure. We are definitely looking forward for that. To that. Anybody you would like to thank, Theodore?
I'd like to thank all of my Downforce Racing teammates, Ed, Rob, Riley, Josh, Jay, for all the help with setups and spotting and just practice throughout the week. Thank you guys here at Apex. You guys put on a great broadcast. Can't wait to go back and rewatch it here. And everyone that turns out to make this the best series on iRacing.
Oh, for sure. That race was amazing, and it's all credit to you guys for providing this great show. We are only doing part of the job.
Well, thank you guys.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Austin, let's wait a little bit to see if anybody else will join us here in the booth today.
Yeah, we
Spa
had a lot.
next week.
Yeah, Spa is definitely next week, and these two tracks next to each other are just bringing out so much great racing. And like you said, the Formula 3.5 series is definitely the fastest growing series on iRacing, and for good reason too. The field is always strong, the competition is always there, and the racing is just so fantastic. Spa is going to be a kind of another wild one again. I've not really one that we can pinpoint on a good on a who will be good there, as it's a very drafty track. We might see a driver start to pull away, but it's going to be a dogfight from start to finish.
Oh yeah, indeed, for sure. It's gonna be interesting. But we have here in the booth joining us for a quick interview also Rob Crouch. Rob, 6th place today. You did a great job in the race, moving up 6 spots from qualifying, 12th place in qualifying. Maybe a little bit disappointed from your qualifying effort, but overall a great race.
I always struggle to qualify here. I don't know what it is. I find I have decent race pace, but qualifying here is just tough. I just don't have that edge. But yeah, no, I had very little practice. I put in a lot of time for the Daytona 24, and yeah, I've been really focused on that. So I haven't been in this car for a long time. Well, it feels like a long time. So yeah, I was super happy with my result today. I got very lucky. I mean, some of the very fast guys got into incidents, so I knew that if it just kept on the track, I'd have a chance. Yeah, it was good.
It was definitely interesting to see you navigate through all the chaos in the opening laps. I just saw also the replay in turn 1. You got a big moment also in the following chicane. Opening corners were definitely very interesting.
Yeah, I said going into this that I didn't have a lot of expectations. Like when I was talking to my team beforehand, and if I made it through the first couple of corners, I'd be happy. And when I got clipped early on there, I was like, oh, that's it, it's over. But I'm glad that we had a guy spotting, and he was able to tell me that I had no damage, and I was amazed. I was like, oh, well, that's just the magic of netcode. It's worked out for me. Yeah, so after that, I was able to settle in. I'm not sure why Ed didn't jump in here, because I just want to give him props. He put in a lot of practice. I think he's a bit frustrated with the way things have gone this week, but I have to give him props because he had amazing pace here, and he really stuck with it. And to get second here, I think Ed did a great drive, and Ted too. Like, you know, yeah, amazing.
I wanted to ask you, do you think Montreal has somewhat something in similar compared to Long Beach? Because we tend to call Montreal not a proper street circuit, but more or less has all the characteristics to it.
I was saying this while I was practicing then, like, because I only did about an hour of practice for this race, which is like unheard of for me. I normally get good results because I do a lot of practice, but as I was doing it, I realized that this track is very different in a car that you can't monster those big sausage curbs. Like in a GT car, when you can really monster them, it doesn't feel like a street circuit. But in this car, it really does feel like a street circuit because you have to be so careful through those chicanes.
Well, that's definitely a very interesting take on that. So we will see in the future how the community will, let's say, compare the two, because it's definitely a bigger talking point. But before we let you go, Rob, anybody you would like to thank?
I just want to thank all of our team. Downforce Racing has been amazing. Like, there's been a big change in the guard in this series with Tim and Greg sort of like not racing all the time, and the Positive Sim Racing guys not being around. So I like to think that the DFR guys are there, you know, pushing it forward and being like in the same way that those guys race, in a very respectful manner. So I have to give my team respect for that. They really do uphold the goals we're going for.
Oh yeah, for sure. We also thank everybody that joined the community lately for providing us some great racing. One of the best races every week on the broadcasting channels, I must say.
Oh, definitely. The new guys that have popped in here with real pace have been a real surprise, and it's excellent to see them. So yeah, Emil and those guys, that's fantastic.
Well, thank you very much, Rob, for joining us. Hope to see you soon next week in Spa.
See you guys. Thank you.
Well, I think, Austin, we can call it for the day. Over to you.
And what a day it has been. A great afternoon of racing here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship. It was a little bit of a slow start with that action up front, with that little bit of incidents up front, slow mid part, but that midfield all the way to the end, just what a battle. And I can't say thank you enough for all these new drivers hopping in here and just giving us a grand old show and making this series just even more awesome. Thank you everybody for joining us here in the chat. I've been joined by Alessandro Dalladane with Marco Barboneri in the production booth. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.